Peter, congrats on number one. It's not the first time we've been here before, but just give me the 30,000 foot premise of the book, what you're looking into.
Well, we've been having this national debate in this country, and rightfully so, on immigration, and we've talked about economics and culture and violent crime. But what we've ignored, Alex, is what I call the weaponization of migration. That's how foreign governments and movements are using it actually as a weapon against the United States. That includes China, Mexico, jihadists. And a lot of the book is actually using their own quotes and their own assessment and analysis of what they're doing to this country through migration. So sealing the border is great, vital step. A lot of credit to the Trump administration. But a lot of the battle on the streets we're seeing in Minneapolis, we've seen in Los Angeles and elsewhere, is going to continue because these political networks have been put in place by these movements inside of our own country.
Yeah, one thing that I noted in the opening that was pulled straight from the pages of your book is this strange alliance between the left and the Islamists who are trying to come to America and then undermine Americanism and undermine conservatism. The Muslim Brotherhood's a big part of this, but please describe to me, how could people who seem to disagree on everything work together?
Yeah, this really started in 2007 when Che Guevara's grown adult children, a son and a daughter, traveled to Tehran to meet with the mullahs. Kind of a weird thing. And the meeting did not get off to a good start because, according to the reporting, they had a big argument about atheism, about God, about Islam, all of that. But they set all that aside. And at the end of the meeting, they concluded that, look, we have our disagreements, but the bottom line is we both want the same thing, which is the destruction of the United States. So they made common cause. That's really the beginning, the headwaters of how we got to the point where people that are in favor of trans rights and gay rights have aligned themselves with a radical movement that hates and wants to kill people that are engaged in that kind of behavior. And what they basically have decided is we're going to work together to destroy the United States. We'll split up the spoils later on. Although I do quote in the book, Islamists is saying, look, this is just a marriage of convenience. Once we win, we're going to get rid of those guys too.
That is so crucial that they're working together to destroy the United States. That's the point. That's what everyone should fear. Tell me about the Manchurian Generation. This is the big story that we had over the weekend at Breitbart News, became the #1 story in America on social media. This is one of the big revelations of the book. Give us the details.
Yeah, birthright citizenship. A lot of people are aware of it. The Supreme Court's going to be hearing the case. What a lot of people don't realize is China has had an industrial scale a policy in place, agenda in place to exploit birthright citizenship. So what do I mean? Most people have the impression that birthright citizenship is a problem. Somebody sneaks across the border, they give birth to a child, that child will be a U.S. citizen. China has done this en masse for the past 13 years. They've advertised it in China. The Chinese government has encouraged members of the elite to do it. So we're at a state right now, Alex, that according to the Chinese government, roughly 1 million American citizens, I'll put that in air quotes, are in China. They're being raised in China. They're going to Chinese CCP schools. They're the children of elites. When they turn 18, they're going to be able to vote. They're going to be able to get government jobs. They're going to be able to freely operate inside the United States. It is a massive, massive security threat and subversive effort in the United States. So we need to remember the 2016 election when Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton. That was settled by 80,000 votes. Imagine when you have 1 million Chinese nationals living in China able to vote in our elections. It presents a fundamental national security threat. That's what I mean by the Manchurian Generation. We heard about the Manchurian Candidate in movies and in the book. This is an entire generation of people that are in the same circumstance and have the same subversive capabilities, except scaled up to more than 1 million people.
Frightening stuff, and I'll give the audience even more details on that blockbuster story after the break. But Peter, you're describing a constellation that includes China, it includes Mexico, and especially the Democrats in the United States of America, all trying to subvert traditional American values. What do you hope are the action items? What do you hope the book leads to in terms of discussions, policy changes, or anything that's top of mind?
Well, I think the bottom line is birthright citizenship needs to end. The Supreme Court needs to know this is not a random problem. Part of the problem is the federal government doesn't even keep statistics. We don't know how many people are doing this, but the Chinese do and say that it's more than 1 million. Birthright citizenship, we need to be closing Mexican consulates. They have 53 of them in the United States. The United Kingdom has 7.
Amazing. Peter Schweitzer, The Invisible Coup, out now. The #1 book on Amazon right now. The Government Accountability Institute, his think tank, is incredible. He also is a contributor for us at Breitbart.